What's good, transforming Trixies? How are y'all doing? My name is Tehja if you don't know, and today we have an extra special video. It's finally my first Halloween video, kinda. Because I'm late, because I've been working on a really big project that will be coming out very soon, but y'all see it when you see it, so subscribe. But today we'll be making and recreating Ariana Grande's 34 plus 35 costume look situation when like she finally gets turned into the Fembot by the robot that they were working on in the music video. We're doing that today, so that is going to be really fun. And this video is a little bit longer because I really wanted to explain how to do things instead of like rushing through the video and have it be like 20 minutes, you know, or 15 minutes. Like I really want y'all to understand the steps that I'm doing, because I know a lot of y'all are like beginner sewers or haven't sewn at all before. Ooh, let me just keep it censored. And so I just want to fully explain things so it makes it easier for y'all to do this DIY. So if you'd like to know how to recreate Ariana Grande's infamous, iconic 34 plus 35 look from her music video, then please keep on watching till the end of this video. Okay, so these are the 3 pattern pieces that you need in order to do this project. You need the pattern that I drafted on my Patreon, and then also the 2 bra pieces as well that I use for my sweetener costume tutorial, but also it will be available on my Patreon and my Etsy as well. This is how I calculated the pattern for the baby doll dress. So I first measured how long I wanted the dress to be. It's about 25 inches. So I like drew a straight line. Now it's semi-straight. That is going to be my center front and center back line. So then next I took my underbust measurement, which was 30 inches, divided that by 2, which is 15. And I'm going to keep that measurement in mind. Then I'm going to take 15 and divide it by 2 again, and that's going to be 7.5. And I'm going to remember that measurement. So we'll need those 2 measurements. So I took this 7.5 measurement and I added it to either side of the top of this line. So this will be 7.5 here for me, 7.5 here. So you do the same thing for your underbust measurement. And then I took this 15-inch measurement and then added it to the bottom of this like center front line. So boop, boop. So this each will be 15 inches. Then I just connected these lines together, and literally that is the pattern. And then I just added a 1/2 inch seam allowance all around the sewing pattern because we'll be using a French seam. Right, and that's pretty much it. And that's how you make the skirt of the baby doll pattern, and I will be linking the bra pattern down below. Anyway, let's move on to actually constructing this garment. So I'm gonna go cut these out of the fabric that we'll be using for this project, and we'll get to sewing. This is the fabric we'll be using for this project. It's not as pastel as I wanted it to be.
It's not even giving what y'all said it was supposed to give. No, I wasted my money.
But it does what it needs to be done, and also like once you like unlayer it, it gets a little bit more pastel-y. So what I'm going to do is fold this fabric in half. It's literally pretty much like just wide enough, which is hilarious. So I'm just gonna cut this out. I like worked my magic, but it's just wide enough to cut it in half. So I'm gonna put some pattern weights on here and cut this out. I totally forgot to tell you, the fabric I'm using is the Stretch Power Net mesh fabric. I totally skipped that part. But anyway, I'm just going to just kind of semi-carefully cut the fabric out. So a yard of fabric is just enough fabric to do this project. And then I'm moving the fabric up. So I'm gonna cut out the cups now. And you will definitely need 2 cups. I mean 2 of each cup. And I try to cut it around the same grain as well, just to keep everything consistent. So those of you who have watched my Ariana Grande sweetener tour video know exactly what to do next. If you didn't, it's okay, we'll go over it just real quick. So for the bra cup pieces, you have your outer bra cup pieces and your inner bra cup pieces, and they're supposed to go together. So I'm going to place the outers on the outside and the inners on the insides, and the curves of the pieces should face each other. And what we're going to do is pin them together. So I'm going to place the outer cup on top of the inner cup. And what's most important is just that the tops of the inner and outer cups and the bottoms of the inner and outer cups kind of fit together and that they reach each other. So if you have to stretch it a little bit, then stretch it a little bit, but not too much, but enough just to make sure that this outer cup goes the distance, because that tension will help to create that curve that we need in order to fit the boobie or whatever you got on your chest. So I'm just going to pin them real quick, starting at the top, kind of lining up those raw edges, lining up the curves together. And then this is kind of when you want to kind of pull a little bit. So I think I'm going to pin the bottoms first before I pin the space in between. All right, so ta-da! This is what we got to work with, like that. So it's pinned all around that curve. So what I'm going to do now is sew at 1/2 inch on the sewing machine using a zigzag stitch. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll be right back to further assemble the cups. So this is what these are what the cups look like after I sewed them together. So now what I'm going to do is add the elastic to the cups. This will help the fit of the cups to actually act like a cup. So I'm gonna go grab the elastic. So this is the elastic that I bought from Etsy, if it wants to focus. Yes, so this is the elastic I bought. I believe it's lingerie elastic because it has the plush underside, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna focus on the kind of shiny metallic part. Take my elastic and pretty much put it over at the raw edge of each bra cup. So the outsides will actually be the length of the bra cup itself. I actually might stop 1/2 inch above the edge because this will be the seam allowance to connect to the top of the baby doll dress. You know, self-explanatorily, kind of line it up to the raw edge and pin it down. Alright, so I reached the bottom of the outside, and like I said, I'm going to stop about 1/2 inch-ish, a little bit less than 1/2 inch up. So, ta-da! And so once we've done that, we're just gonna like slightly pull, not a lot, but so that like top stitch that down. So I'm going to do that to the other cup and then top stitch this down. Oh, and also if you don't know which one's the outer cup and which one's the inner cup, you just fold the bra in half, and usually the shorter one is the one that's the outer cup. Just to let you know, because I know that can be a little confusing once you've sewn the inner and outer cups together. Silence! I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is what the bra cups look like once you're done sewing that elastic on. So anyway, now what I'm going to do is measure the inner bra cup to see how long it is, and it's about 8 1/4 inches, but we'll just say 8. And then I measured from where the bra cup points should stop on my chest, and then all the way back to my back where my underbust would be, and that's about 16 inches as well. So that will be 24 inches in total. So we're gonna cut out, and then you do that for your measurements, then you cut out 2 of those out of the elastic, and then we are going to pin that elastic measurement or elastic that you just cut out onto the inner bra cups and sew it down, and the rest will act as an actual strap for the baby doll dress. All right, so you pin it just like that, and then we'll sew it the exact same way. Okay, so this is how the bras bra cups came out, very interestingly. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I actually really like this. I want to make this into a bra or like lingerie set eventually, but we're focused on this project right now. So now it's time to attach these bra cups to the actual baby doll skirt situation. So let me go and get all of that stuff. So I brought out the front part, which they're both literally identical, but the front part of the baby doll dress. And as you see here, like literally it's supposed to, I thought that it was supposed to be like just fit right in this kind of, you know, bra cup situation. However, I think it's a little bit too small, so I think I'm gonna switch my plan and sew the baby doll skirt situation together first and then add the cups at the end. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that instead. So this is now the back baby doll piece. So I'm doing a French seam because I think that's the cleanest seam for any sheer fabric. So I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll show y'all the process, and I'll have a video tutorial of how to do a French seam linked down below as well. Okay, so I sewed the damn skirt together. I didn't complete the French seam because I like to try stuff on as I am making it, and I realized that I messed up big time. So this skirt is way too big for my underbust, like up here is way too big. So then I went to go look to see what the back was because I was only looking at one front photo for this look. I wasn't looking at the video like I normally do. And so I went to go look and saw that it's literally a bra with this kind of like baby doll skirt attached to it. And like I had no idea. I'm so mad. It's so much fabric with this skirt that in the back it just droops down. And it's just not cute. So I need something in the back to keep it up and stabilize it. I have to do a tiny bit more pattern drafting, but I'm literally just gonna trace something out and hope it works. So I'm just gonna do that real quick and I'll walk y'all through the process. Okay, so this is how I quickly drafted the side bra band for this pattern, is that I took a bralette that had one and I literally traced it out minus the elastic band at the bottom. So like I would trace the whole thing out and then minus like an inch. And then I added like seam allowance around it, I believe. And also I measured how long I needed the bra band to be, which was about 6 inches long. And so I made sure that the bra band that I'm tracing out, that I made the pattern also at least 6 inches long. So now I'm just quickly adding seam allowance. I think I added a half an inch to the front and the bottom. I didn't add anything to the top, I don't think. And then I added 1 inch to the back to eventually become the hook and eye closure for the back of the bra band. So that's why I added an inch. So again, the sewing pattern will be linked down below if you don't want to draft it yourself. So this is pretty much the pattern. It's super basic and simple. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are mirrored out of the power mesh fabric and then hook them up and sew it to the bra. So this is what I got. I should have used my rotary cutter for both of them. But anyway, I'm just going to line the top with the elastic because just to match the bra cup pieces. I'm going to pin it and then sew it down like I did for the triangle bra pieces real quick. Okay, so I sewed my two little bra strap side thingies together, and they look like this. So now we're gonna attach them to the bra pieces. Align the pieces from the bottom up, flip it over right sides together, pin it, and then sew it with a zigzag stitch. I would do it like maybe on top of the elastic stitch that we did or something like that. I don't know. Okay, like that. So then when you open it up, it looks like this. Still not the best because I had a faux pas. How come ever it's gonna be covered in the feathers anyway. Alright, so I finished sewing the little bands together and they actually look really cute. It looks like an actual bra and I'm actually in love. I'm obsessed. So anyway, next what I'm just gonna do real quick is just connect these bra pieces together. Just like probably just do a little wide zigzag stitch across these two. Just to quickly, you know, just connect them. No big deal. Nothing special. Okay, so this is a bra, and this is what we got to work with. So now what I'm going to do, now that the bra bands are connected, and everything looks really good, is that I'm going to fold these back an inch. And we need a hook and eye closure for this bra so that it can close in the back somewhat, something like that. So I'm just gonna pin these together like that, and then probably with a straight stitch kind of stitch on the edge and then on each edge pretty much, so here and then up here. So I'm gonna do that for both sides. Okay, so this is what the bra looks like. Let me move this out the way. So this is what the bra looks like. I just did two little quick stitches. And so now what I'm going to do is attach the baby doll skirt to the bra with a French seam. Right now I'm just going to pin this along the raw edges. Wrong side to wrong side first because I'm doing a French seam. And then sew with a zigzag stitch. I'll show y'all how I'm going to pin it and all that stuff so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to first align the side seams together and then probably do the middle after that. I've pinned everything together. I hope y'all see, yeah. And I'm going to zoom in so y'all can kind of see it. Kind of, sort of. But I didn't pin all the way to the edge where the hook and eye closures would be. I pinned to that like seam that we sewed to fold back that 1 inch because we need this a little loose as the closure because we'll have to, like, you know, go like this. You know what I mean? Ta-da, kind of. So that's what I did with the pinning, is like I pinned all the way around except for right at that little seam that we sewed in order to make the little hook and eye closure section. So I'm going to sew with the zigzag stitch at a 1/4 inch, and then I'll show you how I'll clip it and then pin it again like I did for the side seams here. And it actually makes it look way prettier instead of just doing like a zigzag stitch on the edge. I like the front seam for power mesh a lot better. Okay, so this is what the seam looks like once sewn. So the raw edge seam is actually on the outside. So what we do now is clip it, and please be very careful because it all looks the same. Clip it and then fold it this way and then sew again. If you have applique scissors, this is actually a better option. Again, please be very careful and take your time. Okay, so can you see? Will it focus? Alright, so this is what I did. I pinned everything back, and now I'm going to sew again at a 1/4 inch, or at least enough to encase the fabric that's sandwiched in between these 2 layers. We pretty much damn near have a dress. First, we are going to sew the hook and eye closures. So I have these hook and eye closures. They're super duper old because I inherited these from my grandma. So they're like super vintage and nice, and I get to have a little piece of my grandma in this garment, so that's cute. So I'm gonna use, I think, these and just hand sew them to the back, to where we have our little hook and eye panels. It's so not cute at all. I'll probably put like a zigzag stitch at the bottom. It's so not cute, but it'll do what has to be done. It would be better if it was like an actual hook and eye closure, which you can buy them already pre-made, so you just sew them to this part and then that's it. We'll sew the hook and eye so that it can like hook like this and overlap. Really, really cute. Okay, so now I'm sewing the hooks and eyes. So we want it to overlap like that, and I want the hooks to be on the right side because I'm right-handed. So I think I'll sew the hooks on the wrong side of the fabric and just like 2 below the elastic as well, just like 1 and 2 right there. You'll want the hook to be like right here. I'm planning to do like a whole beginner friendly kind of YouTube series, because I know a lot of people who do watch my videos don't know how to sew. Like, they're not like proficient sewers, like they are like beginners. So no pun intended. I will probably start doing that really, really soon. Okay, I finished sewing the hooks and eyes in. It was an interesting process. It was my first time doing it, so yeah, and so it should hook like this relatively. But I do recommend just buying the pre-made ones because they're just a lot easier. So then you'll just sew the pre-made ones to the edge of your bra band on the side. Now that the hooks and eyes are sewn in, we literally have a couple of steps left to the full construction. I know I say that every time, but I really mean it. So now I'm just going to take the straps and like just fold them straight back until they hit kind of like that kind of parallel point in the back of the garment. And so that's about like right here. So I'm just going to tuck that underneath and pin it. And then we're just going to sew it down with a straight stitch. Super duper easy, super duper simple. And then same thing on the other side. And then, like I said, go back and forth with a straight stitch. And make sure when you fold the elastic back and pin it, just make sure that it's hidden behind the edge elastic, and that you can't see it through the mesh. The straps are sewn down, and it's really cute. Now I'm just going to do a wide zigzag stitch across, like right on the edge of the fabric, and then that'll be it for the construction of this garment. We just have to add the feathers. Okay, so the dress is actually finally done. Everything looks really, really, really good. So now it is time to move on to sewing the marabou trim onto the dress to finish the Ariana Grande 34-35 costume look transformation situation. So this is the marabou trim that I have, and what I'm going to be working with is this lavender-esque marabou trim or marabou boa that works really, really well. It's not the same color as the dress, but I think it's cute enough to work with, because like the dress type purple is so blue, and this is more of like a redder or neutral type of purple. So it's not 100% perfect, but we'll work with what we got. Okay, so I'm going to first pin the marabou trim around the bra cups first, and then I'll pin it at the hem and then hand sew it all down. So I'm gonna go and take this to the table so y'all have a better angle of what to do. Okay, so I have my baby doll dress laid out on the table. And so what I'm going to do, like I said, is take my marabou trim and I'm going to pin it like in a spiral. Can y'all see? I'm gonna go get some more light. First, with the marabou boas or marabou trim, there's always like this rope thing. So I'm gonna cut that off first. Try to not cut as many feathers as possible. Okay. Relatively. Then, next, after doing that, I'm gonna first place kind of the marabou trim in the middle and place a pin. Right, and then I'm just gonna kind of like swoop it around and then like place another pin and kind of you just go in a spiral. You can also like go in like a triangle as well. I just want to really make sure that you can't tell kind of where the trim starts and where it ends. So you just kind of follow the pattern and you pin right in that like core, like what we just cut off was a like cord or string, so you pin at that point. And I'm just like constantly checking just to make sure I don't accidentally pin something, like pin layers together or anything like that. You just want to make sure you're just pinning the bra cup. Alright, so like as we're getting to the end, I'm gonna make sure I fill up this area right here, you know, until like pretty much the elastic, because that's where the bra cup ends. And you don't have to put like the cords like right next to each other. You know, you can space it out for how long the, you know, feather spreads. So it should pretty much look like this once you're done. Yeah, so you find the middle of the, or yeah, the center, the start of the marabou trim, and we're just gonna hand sew it in that same spiral. Now I do have some gathers in the cup, but you'll like unpin it as you go and sew everything. So hopefully I can straighten that out as I'm doing so, because I really don't want to take away any of the space. Let me go lace up a thread and get to hand sewing. If you want slightly more details on how I hand sewed the trim, you can go to my marabou trim set video for that. I'm actually gonna push my needle to the back, and I think I'm gonna sew it from the back, only because I think it'll just be easier that way. So I'm feeling the cord kind of through the fabric as I'm doing so. Yeah, it's not gonna be the cleanest sewing job in the world, but it's just gonna have to do the trick. And then you just carefully take out the pins and make sure you can hold still the feathers in place and all that stuff. And then if you run out of thread, you just tie the knot off at the point that you're at, just very carefully. Just make sure you just don't like tug or move the threads and the bra too much. And then you just kind of start again at that same point or a similar point and continue the sewing process. And just continue to check just to make sure everything's spaced correctly as well, and that there's not like any rows of like, you know, space or, you know, kind of like exposing the fabric underneath. You want it all to just be the feathers, and that's it. Yeah, so as you're like sewing the feathers on, you'll probably have to do some type of rearranging of some sorts. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to tie this off. And for power mesh, you just want to make the knot pretty big just so it doesn't like go through the actual mesh part. All right, and then for this tippy top part, I think what I'm just gonna do is like cut like right here. So I'm going to like separate as many like feathers as possible, kind of like straighten it out and then just like cut. And that's pretty seamless, so that's good. All right, so we have one cup done, so we do the same thing to the other cup, and then we'll do the hem, and then that's pretty much it. Okay, so I kind of finished sewing the cup feathers together. I just have to do a little bit more on this side just to even it out, because I did the whole cup on the other side and it looks more like a triangle than this side, so I have to do that, but that will be later because I have a little bit of an emergency. This is all I have left. So I thought I had one more. I thought I have 4 marabou trim pieces, but I just literally can't find it. So I will ravage my collection one more time just to make sure like I don't have one more, because I really thought I did. I did, and I used it for this. I totally forgot. Shout out to Rebel's Promise birthday photo shoot 2019. So anyway, I'm going to still go around the hem of the skirt and just pin as much as I can, sew as much as I can, and call it a day, because I'm over it. I am over it. So anyway, what I'm just doing is just literally like feeling for the cord that's in the middle of the feathers and like aligning the edge of the, or like the hem of the baby doll dress to that cord area and just pinning it. The same thing I did in that marabou trim set for 14 Days of a Teasy Valentine. Is like the exact same. And hopefully it like covers enough, because I have like 2 other pieces left, but I do need one of the pieces to make that bra section, triangle section even. So I don't know how this is gonna go, because it seems like it's gonna cover the front for how long it is. So the whole dress is pretty much finished, but I quickly do the wig to finish the costume all together, and I skipped through this because this did not turn out the way I wanted to. It still came out cute, but definitely not accurate to the video whatsoever, so I'm just gonna skip. Again, everything you need for this transformation is on my Patreon, which is linked down below. You'll get the digital sewing patterns, the tutorials, the exclusive videos, the step-by-step instructions, and just any and all things that you may need to do this transformation and all the other transformations that I do in the future. So it is linked down in the description box down below. You know, you can become a member just like that, instant access, and you'll get everything that you need for this project and all the future projects to come. So anyway, let's get to this reveal. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all didn't think it was too long, and I hope I explained everything pretty well. As always, the pattern will be linked down below. So anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. Please subscribe to, you know, stay tuned for the rest of the Halloween videos that I have planned, and also all the rest of the celebrity recreations that I have planned as well, and other super duper fun videos. I know y'all like the bedazzling videos, so those are coming super duper soon. And just lots of good stuff. So please subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you can see all of that good stuff. So anyway, that's it for this video, and as always, transforming Trixies, please love yourself, and I will see you next video. Mwah!